what kind of decision did you make about the fact you were going to make a solo album then? I mean, was it just how it was going to sound? Was that the basic decision? I mean, having this baggage, this history, this 30 years.
Yeah.
It takes a kind of psychic energy in a way to say, here I go again.
Psychic or lunatic energy. I think I had been a bit deranged kind of leading up to the tour that happened in 2004, because I got incredibly ill. I mean, horribly ill. And ironically, and probably this will get edited out because it's not what anyone should say, it was when I gave up smoking. I gave up smoking. I was very successful. And I swear, I didn't just get a cold. I got bronchitis, asthma, sinusitis. I had to have an operation. I was pumped full of all these drugs like steroids, antibiotics. My body was taken over by all these drugs and I ballooned. I actually put on so much weight, and I've never really had a weight problem. And I was seeing all these doctors and quacks, I was calling them, all kinds of specialists. They were taking blood tests, they were doing this, doing that. And they were saying, so, what is it? Why is this? It's since I've stopped. So he said, oh, that's probably just coincidence. I said, coincidental? I've never bloody had asthma, bronchitis, and all this rubbish. And I honestly, I did that tour and under a lot of pressure, and I didn't go back to smoking. And but meanwhile, all through the tour, I was having to see specialists. I had like this spittoon on stage. I was constantly spitting up guns. This is going to be great for all the fans to listen to. And I was totally miserable because I've seen these doctors, and I was telling them, you're not doing this. You're not treating me properly. And that, I was a very bad patient because I was just losing patience with it all. And finally, at the end of the tour, I just had enough of taking all these drugs. And I gradually started smoking, and the symptoms started improving. And I did finally find a doctor that said, well, it's not publicised, but in some very rare cases, and we don't know why, because we're not going to research why, because we're trying to get people to bloody well quit, But there is a minority of people that this is a reaction, and we don't know why, because it's not researched into. So I kind of, once I'd gotten over all that anger and like the relief of getting the tour and getting the dream show out there, and it was like a huge sigh of relief, and getting my body back. I really felt I'd been invaded by aliens, and it was really traumatic. And I think it was like almost surviving death. It was just really a horrible.
It sounds like a kind of mid-period Siouxsie and the Banshee album, doesn't it? Yeah.
But it was such a relief to get that over with, and I think. I know I was conscious of opening things up by calling that tour Siouxsie, and not restricting what I did, and having a completely free rein to do things. And we had a lot of musicians involved. I don't know if you saw any of the Dream show, but we had orchestra, percussion players, and it was fantastic bouncing off all these different people and being able to work with people that I hardly knew, and just on a musical level. And I'd never really, I think the big turnaround was me thinking, I can relate to other musicians. It's not just about having my mates in the band. And I think up until then, I never considered myself as a musician. I just felt, well, I was just with a bunch of friends, and we got lucky, and we kind of bluffed it, and, we self-taught ourselves. But I never really considered myself a musician. So I just thought, for this album, I just wanted to put myself in an environment with no one that I knew, although I had clues who I wanted to produce it.
What